What's up, guys? Today we'll be covering UFC 316, Dvalishvili versus Omalley to the rematch. We'll be covering the entire card, picks, and predictions, starting with we got Markel Medeiros versus Mark Choinsky. It's his UFC debut for Choinsky. On this one, we're gonna have to rest on the expertise of Medeiros. I value UFC experience, and in this one, we're just going to roll there. Not too much of a deep dive or confidence in this one. They don't offer odds for bum fights. Okay. Quentin Salkid versus Yanal Ashmouz. Now, Ashmouz is an interesting fighter. He had a pretty good come up in the UFC. He got a win over Sam Patterson, I believe, by KO, which has aged well. He's fighting the fan favorite Quillian Salkid, who absolutely fraud checked the shit out of Anshul Jubilee. So we all loved him for that. I know Salkid. I can't pronounce this guy's name for shit. I know Salkid in this one is a significant favorite on the odds. Yeah, minus 455. Everybody thinks he's just going to flatline Ashmouz, but I think Ashmouz has a good chin. I think he can grapple. I do tend to think Salkid will land the more consistent shots. Ashmouz has some power hands he could land. However, in this one, I do tend to go with Salkid by decision, but minus 455 is just irresponsible in my opinion. All right. We got Jekka Sergi versus Ju Sang Yu. Ju Sang Yu, this is his first fight in the UFC. Sergi, his last fight was a loss. I don't tend to have much value in Sergi here. We are going to have to, he's plus 400. You can get him plus 440. It's gotta be you or pass in this one. I don't think Sergi has much to offer unless he wants to fence hug, in which case he will become a fan favorite on the channel instantly. Next one, we got Iran Da Silva versus Wang Kong. Now, Wang Kong, of course, has absolute anvils in her hands. I think you would have to favor Wang Kong here. She has yet to be exposed on the ground, truly. Chinese fighter, Weili Light. I think you got to go with Wang Kong here. I know Wang Kong's a significant favorite, but I mean against a 500 fighter who's coming off a loss. Irene Da Silva is a bit older, I believe, as well. Anyway, I think she's a bit older. But Kong here is the pick. I know she's a significant favorite. She's sitting at, minus 500, but I think she's the lock of the card. All right, moving along. That is the end of the early prelims. On to the prelims. We got Chaos Williams versus Andreas Gustafsson, him being, of course, the younger brother of the lineal light heavyweight champ, Alexander Volkanovski, who did beat Jones in the first fight 3-2. He's coming to avenge his brother's legacy in the UFC. He just got a win on the Contender Series via clinch spam, knees, elbows, all that bullshit in UFC 5. And he's fighting a tenured vet in Chaos Williams, who is a good fighter. I think he kind of is like Randy Brown light. Chaos is. I think he's a good fighter, man. He's got good straight punches. He manages distance well. I don't think clinch spamming and running in forehead first is going to get the job done here. I tend to favor Chaos Williams in this fight. However, I did see the odds have him as like a 2-1 Chaos, and the most favorite line according to DraftKings is Chaos by KO. I don't know if I agree with that being the most likely outcome. I would say maybe by decision, maybe prop bets on Chaos, because if he's either going to, the rhinoceros charge of Gustafsson is either going to work or it's not, right? So it's K1 or it's a knockout round 1 or bust, I would say, for Williams in terms of the knockout, maybe 2. But I would tend to think Chaos Williams by decision would be your bet here, would be your best bet for the money. Usually these young guys, they don't get trained KO'd stiff. I guess it started to happen more at welterweight than the later divisions. But Chaos would be the pick. I could see Gustafsson getting it done via, rhinoceros bullshit. Okay. Sergey Spivak versus Waldo Cortez Acosta, one of the bigger frauds in the UFC, 13-1. Does not deserve that record at all. This guy, fucking heavyweight blob versus the grappler. You got to go with the grappler here. I think Sergey is a slight favorite. I don't know why UFC is not giving us any odds here. He is a slight favorite. Yeah, minus 142. Okay, so interesting. So I saw it open at minus 155. So money's coming in on Waldo Cortez Acosta. To me, that's a geek. I think you would have to go with Spivak here via Wrestling Clinic. I think he's going to get Acosta down, and I don't think Acosta has the striking on the feet to expose Spivak. This guy, he only loses to top 5 guys. He looks like, the henchman in a fucking Disney movie for the bad guy. He's not going to get chinned here. You got to go with Spivak. Significant reach advantage as well. He can't even get in close before he gets his hands on him. Yeah, Spivak. I think Spivak rolls. All right. Azamat Murzakanov versus Brenson Ribeiro. Ribeiro, this guy's a fucking bum. Murzakanov, he looks like he looks like a butcher. He looks like he works in a butcher shop and gets fired for being drunk all the time. This guy's a real athlete, all right? He, looks can be deceiving, and if you watch any of his tape, he's got sneaky fast twitch reflexes. He's got KO power for days. Brenson Ribeiro is like the classic, ripped Brazilian who goes in there and, wings these, showy shots, but they don't really have much impact. I think Murzakanov all day here. I know he's the significant favorite, and I do tend to agree with that. Minus 550, minus 625. Light heavyweight, I guess you could take that as a parlay piece. He's probably going to be okay here. All right, Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van. People are calling this kid the future champ. I remember betting him against, what was his name, Michael Johnson. That didn't go so well for Van, though I have taken him in his other fights in the UFC, which I believe he's won all of those. He lost to Charles Johnson, right? Yeah, that was a crazy uppercut. But other than that, I believe he is undefeated in the UFC. Yes. Yep. Yeah, Van's a savage. He's a great boxer. He's got increasingly good get-ups, reversals. He's in this fight, I think the biggest difference, because Bruno De Silva does throw bombs. I took I took Bruno Silva as a significant underdog against Cape in their fight, and he got pieced up. Cape looked like a world beater. Cape's one of those guys that one fight looks like the greatest flyweight of all time, and the next fight he looks like a jobber. I mean, Silva was like plus 425 in that fight, so I took a flyer on him. He's a black belt in BJJ. He's got good Muay Thai, but I think the biggest difference here is Joshua Van is the best boxer in flyweight, and Bruno Silva I don't think is big enough to get him down. He's got a significant size advantage, does Joshua Van, and I think that's going to be the difference here. So, money line minus 535. This does seem a little wide to me. The pick is Joshua Van. It's either parlay piece or no bet, in my opinion. End of the prelims. On to the main card, Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. Vicente Luque, of course, being only 33 years old, though everybody acts like he is, Tim Elliott. They act like he's old as shit. He's 23-10, and he had a bad skid there, but getting KO'd recently by Joaquin Buckley has aged incredibly well. Joaquin Buckley, of course, might be the next welterweight champion, depending on how long JDM lasts. Kevin Holland, journeyman, but he's better at welterweight for sure. So seeing him back here is good. He won his last fight. This is a tough one. Kevin Holland has slept on BJJ, so everybody's talking about either getting caught in a Darce choke. If somebody gets caught in a Darce, I think they're getting beat up first, and if somebody's getting beat up, I do think it's Luque, unfortunately, because Luque is a chill dude. But you gotta roll with Kevin Holland here, I think, at minus 265. I think that line is about accurate. Luque could clip Holland, but Holland has a granite chin, as we saw in the Thompson fight. The only reason he quit was because he broke his hand. He couldn't fight anymore. Yeah, man, I think you got to roll with Holland here. I don't really think there's much to it. He's just going to have the snappier shots at range. He's got a pretty sizable reach advantage, leg kick advantage. I think you roll with Kevin Holland here. Patchy Mix, the newcomer, versus Mario Bautista. Now, Mario Bautista is the GOAT of the fucking channel, bro. Mr. Fence Hug himself, Mario fucking Bautista. This is the main event. This is your people's main event right here. Mario Bautista, the king of the fence, versus this guy has no fucking picture. Who is this guy? Patchy Mix. What a bum. Now, Patchy Mix has a very dangerous ground game. He's an athletic guy. He's put it all together. He's a champion in another organization. A lot of people call him the best bantamweight in the world. How can you not pick the fence hugging goat Mario Bautista here? So he's the underdog, first of all, so you're gonna get good value on the boy. Plus 154, plus 155, so about 1.5 to 1. You know what I mean? Bet 100, win 150. Seems like easy money to me. I saw DraftKings open the line for this Bautista to get knocked out is plus 900. So Vegas doesn't think it's very likely. They think sub or decision. Now, interestingly enough, I was watching the fighter interviews, and Bautista said that the ground game is where Patchy Mix shines when asked about if he would take it there. So he felt that there are other areas of his game he could exploit, so he's going to try to strike with him. So I think that's interesting. That's good. I think if he gets clipped, he'll put him up against the fence. Whether or not Patchy can, pull guard, bring him down, or sub him, is yet to be determined. Fuck. But yeah, man, I think Bautista slept on the feet. I think he could hang there with Jose Aldo, but the clinch work was there for him to take, so he went that route. But I think he has solid distance management. He's got a 1-2. I think he sneakily could pull this off. Of course, here on the channel, how can you not go with Mario fucking Bautista by decision plus 250? What a no-brainer. All right, you're welcome. Thank me later. Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Body Cam Pfeiffer. All right, this one, everybody seems to be picking Joe Pfeiffer as the favorite. Kelvin, of course, is a taco-eating, undersized little son of a bitch. I think he's a significantly better boxer. I think Pfeiffer is Deontay Wilder. Gastelum is Fury. I think Gastelum is just a lot smaller than Fury. But, man, I think on the feet, the skill gap with the striking isn't close. So it's a matter of, I think Gastelum can slip some shots, get inside, catch Pfeiffer with uppercuts. I think if Pfeiffer lands clean in an exchange, Gastelum's going to go down. He could potentially put him out. People are talking about Pfeiffer, the grappling upside. I mean, Gastelum is a pretty credentialed wrestler from what I understand. So I think it would be negated unless Pfeiffer falls on top of him Looney Tunes style, and Gastelum can't get up because Pfeiffer's too big. That's how I could see him holding him down. But in pure wrestling and pure striking, I think Gastelum's the more skilled fighter, the lighter man skill, as they say. I don't know, man. I think for this money, especially at like plus 300 we're looking at, I think Gastelum's not a bad bet here. He's struck with some of the best ever. It's at middleweight, assuming his weight's under control, I think Gastelum is the pick here. Gastelum's, he's a great striker. And he's a well-rounded fighter. Pfeiffer gasses. Pfeiffer's going to be swinging for the fucking fences. Gastelum has a chin made of iron. Gastelum's the pick here as the underdog, plus 300. Give me the Gastelum. Juliana Pena, bro. Kayla Harrison. Now, I thought Kayla Harrison was 42 years old based on her demeanor. She is actually younger by a year than Juliana Pena, which is nothing but shocking. Kayla fucking Harrison is a minus 750. All right, so we're getting 600 here. Minus 750, 800, 770. That is fucking insane, dude. It's a women's fight. Every women's fight's a coin toss. Pena has fought the better competition. She's been the champ. She is the champ. I guess the pick would be Kayla Harrison by submission or TK by finish, really. However, I think betting that is a bit ignorant based on the odds. Let's see. Yeah, Kayla by submission or Kayla TKO. Holy shit. Juliana Pena by decision plus 1100. That's the bet. That's the bet, and it's not even close. Wow. Juliana Pena by decision 1100. That is your bet right there. All right. Main event Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley, the rematch. I think in this position, Sean has done he's removed himself from social media, stopped ripping Gons. I think he's fully dedicated to this fight. Everybody seemed to side with Merab based on the outcome of the last fight, but the word is that Merab's having, difficulties with the weight cut. Omalley is too, for putting on extra weight to deal with the wrestling. I think it's going to be a wrestling clinic, the whole fight, and I think O'Malley's going to fare a lot better there. People forget that two of the judges had O'Malley winning 2 rounds out of the 5, last fight. So I do think he will have made enough improvements to win that extra round. And I think for the money, I think that's where you got to go here. Plus 260, Sean O'Malley. Everyone I understand the Merab decision is even odds, minus 110. So I think here it's O'Malley money line. If he gets ran over, then that he just has his number. But here I think for the money with the improvements, with Merab's fatigue from fighting constantly, I think O'Malley is the side here. Thank you all for watching. Catch you next time.